Hi, my name's Paul Mitchell, and I'm honoured to lead the Global Mining and Metals team at Ernst & Young. I want to also thank my team for inviting me to open this webcast for our clients across the globe. The Mining Risks and Opportunities Report is one of our most important pieces of thought leadership, and I know you, our clients, love to have a read through each year and to attend these webcasts. I also want to apologise that my opening is in English. It's one of those things that you get when you grow up in Australia. Our list this year is really interesting. We saw a shift from operational issues to really strategic issues, longer term. I think that recognises the ongoing energy transition, the difficulties of that transition, and the need for critical minerals. Thankfully, the one operational issue that did make it in there was rising costs and productivity, because a list that doesn't include rising costs and productivity is not a mining list. We all know how critical that risk is to ongoing operations. Capital's moved to number one this year. We all know that minerals are critical to the energy transition, and we simply do not have enough. While the focus at the moment of a lot of corporate activity is on buy or return, we need to switch to build. We need more mines. If we don't get them, we're going to fail to meet the demands of the energy transition. ESG has been our number one risk for the last few years, but that dropped down this year to number two. And in particular, we split out environmental stewardship. That was the risk that came through from an ESG perspective from a large number of you, particularly waste, water, and nature. I think one of the reasons nature was so high has been the fantastic efforts of the ICMM and their nature positive commitments that each of their members has made. It's made a real difference in terms of what the industry is perceived as doing. Resource reserve depletion is on the list for the first time, and new projects is back. I think this, again, reflects that need to switch to build. A number of big mines are closing, and we need to replace them in terms of what we're looking at. One thing that did surprise me this year was that workforce fell off. 55% of our respondents said this is not a key risk. It feels like when I move around the industry, 100% of people tell me that workforce is an issue. I think one of the reasons it falls off the list is because it's covered by other factors. If we improve our brand, if we improve our image, workforce will come to us in terms of what's there. It's clear when we look at the list and we look at the issues that are on there that the energy transition is causing disruption. We're seeing a number of risks come through that are very strong. We've seen increases in exploration budgets, up 37% on what they were a couple of years ago. Surprisingly, though, the majority of this is in gold when it needs to be into critical minerals and copper. That has started to switch just in the last 6 months. I'm really pleased with that. But also, the cost of projects is increasing. So, Simandou is expected to cost US $11.6 billion. These costs will continue to increase. We compete with the energy transition for the same resources that build our capital projects, and they'll do that. Declining ore grades are increasing extraction costs, with copper projects these days having grades of 0.5% or lower. Advanced extraction techniques are required for deep mineral deposits, and we need greater innovation if we're going to meet these. The other big issue we face is regulatory issues. The incredibly long time for permitting delays. On average, it's taking us 16 years for a new mine to open from discovery. That simply is not going to work. We don't have 16 years to get the energy transition done. Geopolitics continues to be a big issue this year. Not just the increase in militarisation and the unfortunate activities that we're seeing in a number of countries, but that increased nationalism that we saw arising during COVID and the incentives that are being put out by governments like those in the US and the EU are key examples of things that are going to increase the desire of countries to not only secure their own supply of raw materials, but to beneficiate more in their own country. I think we're going to see more and more of this as we come. Africa in particular can leverage the rising competition for minerals and metals to obtain increased investment. And this is one of the things that I hope will come out of the discussions that we have as a result of this list. Africa holds more than 30% of the world's mineral resources. It's critical that we develop those resources and that we share the wealth from those across society. Africa can lead the world in terms of mining. We know that there's incredible talent there, and we know that when mining is done well, it has a fantastic impact, not just on GDP, but on the health and the wealth of all citizens. I hope you enjoy the webcast that we've got to you today. Thank you for listening to me, and back to the team.